If you're someone that's only has $1,000 to start off with, okay, and you want to start trading the future markets, specifically the micros, because that's what I'm talking about today, because I believe it's a great opportunity for anyone that's interested in starting to trade. It's going to definitely help you get your feet wet, get a feel for the markets, but first and foremost, you've got to know or understand how to read structure of the market, how to trade price action, okay, correctly. Because that's what's going to make the difference of you being a successful trader when it comes to the future markets versus, someone that's not. So stop and do yourself the biggest favor first before you start putting money into an account and ready to start trading live. I mean, you can do all the demo and simulation that you want to, but you want to prove to yourself that you can be, one, be consistent at trading, and two, be patient enough to wait for the right setups. Today, I'm going to show you how you can actually take $1,000 when you are ready to start trading, say, for example, the micro futures. Specifically, I'm going to show you the Nasdaq here, but you have $1,000 and you're looking to really flip that into maybe $5,000. Is it possible? Yes, I'm going to show you how you can do it. Just simply using a quick strategy that I use each and every day, in and out, to be able to, grab a few $100s up to, maybe a couple $1,000, depending on the number of contracts you're trading. Now, I trade the E-mini, so yes, the tick value per tick is higher, so yes, I can make, X amount of money exponentially quicker than someone trade the micros. But the micros, I'm telling you, is one of the best ways for all beginner traders to really get a footing and their groundwork in to start off with to grow a small account, especially if you only have $1,000 small account and you're looking to trade the the Nasdaq. I'm sorry, guys, or the micros. I was trying to say, but yes, again, we're talking about the Nasdaq futures here. So I'm going to show you a couple examples here and things of what I do. I'm just using multi-chart confluence, and all it is using two charts, a higher base chart, a lower base chart. I'm going to show you a few setups and how you can go about, flipping that $1,000 to, at the end of 30 days, possibly make $5,000. So we're talking about, investing $1,000 into your personal self or your personal account and watching it grow to $5,000 and making $4,000 profit. Now, minus your commissions, of course, depending on your broker. So, for example, I'm going to show you how this works. Let's say you're interested in trading the micro Nasdaq. Okay, so for example, it's $100 per contract to trade that particular market when it comes to the micro Nasdaq. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is the first setup I want to show you. This is a supply setup. This, I believe, happened in probably to the overnight session. When the market opened back up at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 5 Central. So this was a supply setup on a pullback right here. We got a breaker structure below this area here at 18,869, pull back to this supply area here on a higher base chart. What we want to do, we want to start off with, trading, market par zones off of a higher base chart and then moving down to a lower base chart to get into a more precise entry point. But not only that, moving down to a lower base chart, once we tap into a higher base zone, also gives us more confirmation because we're going to be looking for a series of events, that take place within when it comes to the strategy. Okay, so basically, it's giving us more confluence and more confirmation. So what I want to show you is first, let's take a calculator. The micro Nasdaq, the margin is $100 per contract, right? So we have $1,000, right? So we can trade up to 10 contracts, correct? With that $1,000 on the micro Nasdaq. So let's say, for example, we trade 5 contracts, okay? Half the size of that account, all right? I'm not saying leverage that a month, but I'm not saying leverage that kind of money on $1,000 when it comes to trading the micros. But anyone who possibly does want to, whatever the case is, I'm not here to tell anyone how to do so. But if you are, say for example, you know how to trade, you've proven yourself consistently, you have a high win rate, and now you're ready to make some money, and you just want to take $1,000 and see if you can flip that to make that $5,000 within 30 days, correct? So basically, it boils down to this. Let's say we got a 20-point run. This is what we're basing things off of, just trying to get 20 points a day, which is 80 ticks. So it's 20 times 4 ticks in a point is going to give us our 80 ticks times the tick value per tick, which is 50 cents per tick on the micro Nasdaq. That's $40 a contract. Now, if you trade 5 contracts, all right, I said $40. 40 times 5 contracts, that's going to give you that $200 each day. So if you do that 5 days a week, that's going to give you $1,000 a week. At the end of the month, then you're going to make, which is 4 weeks in a month, pretty much. You're going to make that $4,000 in profit each month by doing that. And all we're doing is investing, $1,000 and looking to flip that, trading the micro Nasdaq to grow it to $5,000 monthly. You can definitely do so. If you don't want to leverage that amount, let's say you want to leverage half of the five. Let's say you want to leverage 2 contracts or 3 contracts. So say for example, so if I do 20 points times 4, and let's say we want to do times 0.5. Okay, that's $40 a contract, and we're just going to do 2 contracts. That's going to give us $80 on each 20-point move that we actually, get out of the market. So if we do that times, say for example, 5, that's going to give us what, $400 for the week, which still is not bad, because if you're doing this to slowly build up an account, look, within the first week you've only put in $1,000 into your account. Okay, so you're making that's basically right there 40% of the $1,000 that you originally invested in. So you made 40% back, in profit, gross, not profit, but gross profit within that first week. So again, we're basing this off of a 20-point move and trading using 5 contracts to get us $200 a day to where we can be at that $5,000 per month. Okay, if you know how to trade correctly. But let's say, for example, you end up blowing that account, that $1,000. What if you lost $1,000? Okay, it's not a lot of money. So what I'm trying to basically say is just don't start putting all your eggs into one basket. Slowly take the time to do so, and the micro futures is the way to do it. So I want to show you the strategy and basically a rundown quickly of how I trade, and that allow you, or should allow you, if you know how to trade it correctly and what to look for, because we're talking about high probability supply and demand zones, to be able to make that flip from $1,000 to $5,000 trading the micro Nasdaq, just using a small account to grow it within 30 days. So again, we have a supply setup resting right here. Again, this was into the overnight session when it pulled back to that zone. Once it taps into the higher base, say for example, I trade range charts, the 120 range chart, I'm just moving down to my 24 range chart and looking for a setup. All right, now the setup could take place 2 ways. There could be a smaller zone on the lower base chart, okay, within the higher base zone, or if not, then what I'll do is then I'll look for a break of structure and a pull back to a newly refined zone on the lower base chart. So let's take a look. So I'm on my 24 range chart. I scale down to a lower base chart. This is the higher base zone right here. Now what we can see is that the market didn't tap back into that zone until it got up into this area right here. You see that? Now if we go with the left hand side, typically what I like to do is wait for a structure break. If there's not a micro zone back within the higher base zone, which is that bigger rectangle box, but there's one right here. I believe if we look at right here, here is let me see here. Yeah, this is a zone, say right here, okay, within the zone, okay, or pretty much right at the zone. So let's take a look right here what took place. So the market pulls back. We didn't get to tap into the zone, meaning the higher base zone, until it came back right here. Now we see where it tapped right into the higher base zone. Now that we went ahead, because we have a micro zone within the 24 range supply area right here. So it pulls back to a lower base supply area and it's tapping into the higher base supply area on the higher base chart, the 120. Then we can look for an opportunity to go short. Okay, so now we got confluence, 2 charts matching up or mirroring up at the same location. Okay, where we have a high probability zone, that means where the market is got a gap back left at the supply zone. Okay, if you don't know what I mean when I'm talking about gaps, I mean is the zone mitigated or unmitigated? Has it been tested already or not? That's what I'm talking about. If the zone has not been tested, then that leads me to, for me, it's a highly probable supply area, okay, a setup area based on this supply zone here, where we have 2 zones. We have a higher base zone that is untested, so it's unmitigated, all right, making it high probability, and a lower base zone as well. Pulls back to the zone, and at that point, all I'm doing is waiting for and looking for an opportunity to go short with a break and close of the candle. So maybe I get in around right here around 18,966, 965 and a half, and then I can, I'm taking it down to the latter portion. Basically, what we're looking for is for it to move and fill in some gaps and maybe test in this case here, we have a demand zone right here resting below. So let's say we got in at 18,965 and we took it down to this, where we at? 18,965, and we took it down here to this demand zone resting right here. All right, that goes all the way down to 18,943. That's a 22-point run right there, pretty much. Okay, so you pick those 20 points pretty easy on that one run, and you should go ahead and close your computer for that day because you're done. You've got your $200 trading the micros, which you're at on the first day. You're at where you invested in on that $1,000 or put in your $1,000 into your personal account. Now you're at $1,200. You keep doing that each day, just taking one trade a day, and that's what I would recommend is solely focusing on one trade a day. Once you get those 20 points, all right, close it for the day. You've made $200 trading the micros, and that's pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna show you another setup right quick. But before I do so right quick, let me go back to that last setup, which is right here. Let's say we didn't have a zone back within the higher base zone. Like this one we do. We have two zones. We have a higher base zone, lower base zone. So basically a lower base zone within the higher base zone. Let's say it didn't pan out that way. What would I do if it tapped into a higher base zone where there was not a micro lower base chart zone there? What I'll do is then once it taps into the higher base zone, then I'll just look for the market to break some structure back down to the downside and pull back to a newly or fresh lower base supply zone and then look to go short. So if I don't find a micro zone on the lower base chart within the higher base zone, then I'll wait for a structural break on the lower base chart, then take a pullback to a newly formed supply area. Okay, so let's go to another example. All right, so in this case here, what we see is the market is bullish right here. We're breaking structure to the upside. And when we get this break of structure above this area right here, okay, above 19,572 or 573, there is a demand zone resting right here, and there's one back here, okay? I would rather take this zone here versus this one here because this is at the top end of the swing right here, this demand zone, before it broke structure. There's another demand zone resting right here, which is untested. That's why I mark up this zone right here. The market pulls back, so we break structure above this area on the push up, pull back to the zone here, and then I'm gonna move down to my lower base chart. Now this happened towards the latter part of that day, but we're not talking about times in the day right now, okay? We're just looking at, for example, setups, okay? Because you're gonna see setups like this, across the charts. So you need to look for them. Pulls back, untested, unmitigated zone with a gap here. A demand zone this time, not supply. So now we go down to the lower base 24 range chart. Again, we're looking down the lower base chart to see if we have a zone, okay, in which the market will tap back into. Now, right here, as you can see, the market didn't tap back into the zone until over here, okay? Now, if we look at the lower base chart, yeah, there was a break of structure right here to the upside. It comes back. It taps into this demand zone right here. You could have went long right here on when it came back right here. But again, this rectangle box is off the higher base chart, so we're looking for a tap back into the higher base zone, which it does. And when it taps back into the zone, we do not see a micro, say for example, a micro demand zone where the market broke structure and created a demand, okay, or even a little small demand zone. It didn't tap back into or pull back into a demand zone on the chart here. So in this case here, then I'll need to wait because now we tapped and hit a higher base zone where there wasn't a demand zone that was created on the lower base chart within the higher base zone. Now I need to just wait to see if I can get a structure break to the upside and then a pull back to a zone, okay? So take a look here. Pulls back to the higher base zone. That big rectangle box is from the 120 range chart. On the 24 range chart, then I'm going to wait for a structure break to the upside. We get a break above this area here at 19,550, say 3. It pushes up, and then it comes back a little later, all right? Now, does it hit the zone tick-to-tick? This is the question right here. No, it does not. But I talk about this in videos. A lot of times they'll do this to where it may be like a 2, 3, 4, 3 tick, not point. Variance, meaning a difference of them filling that gap right there, okay? For me, when I see things like this, they're fooling traders out the market in a sense. I'll go ahead and take the trade. I'll take the aggressive risk more so to enter the trade. But, it's safer to wait for the full-on tap into the zone. But again, this here is a untested, unmitigated demand zone where we broke structure above this area right here to the upside and then pull back to this untapped zone right here. If it taps into it and we get the break and close of the candle above, then we're going to go long and aim for, for those 20 points. But be careful and pay attention to price action as well to see what's above you. You know, if you've got an area of structure, say for example, where there may be a supply zone resting above, be very cautious about that, because the market can reject here, tap that supply area, and then continue pushing lower. So be careful. That's why I always talk about follow price action just as well. Just because it taps into a zone, you got to understand where it could actually stop at too and pause. So again, this is all about looking for confluence using two charts, a higher base chart, and then that second chart where we go down to the go down to a lower base chart and look for an entry point. That's going to help us get into a more precise entry point on a lower base chart, but it also gives us more confluence and confirmation just as well. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And if you do this effectively over time, just grabbing those 20 points a day, those $200 a day, you can flip that $1,000 that you put into your personal account and grow it to $5,000 in a small account trading the micro Nasdaq over a 30-day period. Simple as that. So, you know, if you found value in today's videos, first and foremost, if you're not a sub, go ahead and take the time to subscribe. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you don't miss uploads like this, because I give a lot of good, valuable information away for free on this channel, packed within all the videos. Also, what I want to say is, because people are always DMing me asking how they can become an elite subscriber or elite channel member. If you become an elite channel member, guys, only for a very small fee of $6.99, you get my trade breakdowns. That's where I go into detail about trade setups. It has helped people out tremendously because it shows you the trade setups that I post over on the Discord. I go into depth and detail with a lot of those trade setups about the strategy, you know, what my mindset and what I was thinking about the trades, covering market structure, leading up to the trade that I marked up on the chart, why I took that trade, where to place your stop loss, where to place your target profits at, you know, things of that nature, so you grasp an understanding of how to trade strategy when it comes to multi-chart confluence. It's only $6.99 if you want to become a part of, you know, and support my efforts as a content creator, because that's what you're doing. The perks you would get back are the trade breakdowns. You get the video playlist, as well as you get various other video content that I post from time to time on there. There are tons of trade breakdown videos already on there. I did a beautiful market structure video covering market structure in depth as part of that private community. Again, it's only $6.99 a month. If you scroll down to the description portion of the video, just look down below. You'll see a link there to where you'll see the Discord. You can join for free, and then right below that is a link to become an elite member. Click on that link, and when you do, 2 tiers will pop up. One, the second tier is for to get direct access to the rewards in reference to the trade breakdowns and the video playlist and the other various video content. So the second tier for $6.99, that's the one you want to choose if you want direct access to those, you know, the private community with the other valuable content, okay? But that's where I go more in depth and detail and showing tons and tons of you know, videos surrounding that content when it comes to trading supply and demand the way that I actually do, looking for, you know, multi-chart confluence. So again, that link is down in the description portion of the video. If you found value in today's video, I definitely appreciate it if you drop a like on the video. Back test, like I always say, practice the strategy. We have people that are part of the Discord community that are, you know, they're passing their evaluations, they're in place of taking payouts. So I would highly recommend, if you choose to become an elite member for $6.99. That link is down below, and all it's going to do is it's going to help you out even more. It's going to give you more of an understanding, the setups, the strategy, as I walk you through the setups that I talk about in those videos. So that's all I want to do, is share this today with you and showing you that if you're someone that's just, you know, even if you got want to start off with a small amount of money, okay, and put it into account and trade the micros, how you can flip it to make $5,000 by the end of the month. Okay, well, I say grow it to $5,000 by the end of the month, meaning you end up making an additional $4,000 in gross profit off that only that $1,000 that you invested, and you keep flipping that each month. So let's imagine if we did that, and I'm not saying that's all that you can grow it to monthly. You can make more than that on the daily and end up with, you know, $5,000 or $6,000 by the end of the month. So what I'm trying to say is that if you do that consistently month to month, making that $4,000 over what you would personally put into your account of $1,000, then within 2 months you would have made $8,000 or more. Okay, so and that's how you build an account up over time. Again, if you found value in today's video, please drop a like on it. I'll see everyone in the next one. Take care.